My sinuses.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know shit about that, I gotta admit.
That's what happened to my coworker. Poor Angie.
I'm recording.
Oh. And here I am talking about wanting nasal surgery.
And I just fucking raspberried into the mic for a solid like
that
5
was
seconds.
what I was like. You know what? I'm gonna start recording with Alanna talking about her nose.
You're a cruel and inhumane person.
This is episode 3 of Weebs in Training. We watched Rurouni Kenshin. This is Mary.
I'm Chris.
And this is Alanna.
Welcome.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. So
I restrained myself for exactly 30 seconds.
So I have to say this is probably, I mean, we've only done a couple, but this is, I think, my favorite so far because I'm such a history nerd that I was super excited about the historical aspect of this show.
That makes total sense.
I was like, oh, period costumes, and they're talking about like political, what happened and why choices are being made and why no one's allowed to have a sword and that has to do with the emperor, and I was like all about it.
And all of their shoes are made from wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the devil is in the details in this one, to be sure. And a lot of that comes down to, I have read most of the original, no, that's a lie. The manga continues for a little bit longer after what I've read of it. I've read all of the manga that has been animated, and then anybody who's familiar with the show can also tell you that they animated some stuff beyond what had been written in the manga by that point, and that stuff is weird. There's like some guy who thinks he's Jesus, and his sister is the Virgin Mary. It's weird. The manga written by Nobuhiro Watsuki, which we can get into him later. He's kind of a complicated issue right now. Problematic, I think.
Wait, really?
Yeah, let's just get this out of the way, actually, right here and now. Nobuhiro Watsuki is the author of the whole Rurouni Kenshin manga, and most of the anime follows the manga very closely, at least until you get to, like, the 3rd season where things get weird. And Watsuki's manga is incredible. It's really, truly a beautiful work of art. His artwork is stunning. His research is sound. Rurouni Kenshin really is a compelling historical narrative until anime bullshit starts happening, and boy howdy does anime bullshit happen, and we can talk about that later.
What happens?
Well,
Tell me.
No, you
Don't
guys
spoil it.
Well, listen, you guys, I could see.
Oh, is
You
he
could tell when
problematic
it's
because of something that happins in the anime later?
No, it's not about the anime in the slightest, actually.
Is it
it's
sordid personal life?
It is his personal life. The anime itself, actually, it stands alone perfectly well. People love it to this day. I think you guys can kind of see why. It has a lot of sincerity. It has a lot of research put into it. The issue is Watsuki likes child porn.
Oh, he's that one.
Yeah.
We talked about him.
Yeah,
Shit.
This is the guy.
And this is where it brings up that issue of, can you still like art by
And promote.
and promote art by an artist who is seriously problematic?
Yeah. That's a whole topic that there is a really good video on YouTube about this, actually. It might be by Super Eye Patch Wolf. You guys, when you guys are talking, I'll look it up because I really would like to promote this video. I thought it was well thought out. And it focuses on Watsuki, actually, as a key figure in the argument of, like, good art by bad people. So, anyway, we'll leave that alone for right now. For our discussion of the anime, I don't think it's super relevant, honestly, that the author has been convicted of really a truly terrible thing. I'm not going to try to brush that aside or excuse it in any way, but...
That can be an episode in the future where we maybe talk about some problematic people, and then to counterbalance that, some underrated people. Who deserve to have their work, because we don't want to just spend like 30 minutes being like, and here's why
everyone is bad.
Here's why this person that you love sucks. Here's why this person that you love sucks. Hey, it turns out, no.
Except for us. You love us and we don't suck.
Yeah, but we haven't created anything great besides this.
I've never once had a child porn.
Never, not even once?
Not even once. Not a single time.
So, Rurouni Kenshin, based on the manga series by Nobuhiro Watsuki, the anime that we started watching premiered in 1996, went off the air in 1998, 95 episodes, which is short for a really famous anime that was big in the States like this. Usually really famous animes have like over 100.
I think it is because of that third season. That third season that got weird.
Okay.
I think everybody was pretty much done with it by that point. The manga is long enough. It's actually longer than Yu Yu Hakusho, but the anime has fewer episodes. That's what surprised me.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's only not even 100 episodes. I was very surprised.
For those of you who don't know, the show is about a...
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Yes, it's good to have a summary. A wandering samurai named Kenshin Himura. Himura
Kenshin.
Himura Kenshin.
Sorry, I'm
there
up
we
on
go.
the couch.
A swordsman who was part of was it a rebellion?
The revolution.
The revolution.
It's the revolution.
The revolution that led to the creation of the Meiji era.
Right.
And he has since had kind of a falling out with the ideals that he used to hold as one of those top swordsmen of that movement. He's sworn not to kill. And the series begins with him wandering, Rurouni meaning wanderer, around rural Japan, where he comes across a town and decides, this seems like a good town. I'm gonna stay here.
There's this cute girl here. Kind of dig her.
She winds up in the very first episode. She attacks him because it's like, you're the, oh god, I already forgot the name of it.
Batosai.
You're the Batosai manslayer. I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, what? No. And it's like, oh, you young lady who's really pretty, you run a dojo for the Kenshin style of sword fighting? I would love to hang out with you forever.
That is honestly, that's the whole premise of the show.
Do you want to stay for dinner? Do you want to stay forever?
Exactly.
That's this entire show, is people meeting Kenshin and Kaoru and being like, hey, let's hang out always.
Yep. So, a little bit about the Meiji era, and this is something that's like a running joke. Kristen, if you want to scroll down. Help me.
We have notes.
I'm not the note keeper. I can't do this.
I took a lot of notes. So the best thing is like when Kaoru, the pretty young lady, is attacking Kenshin in the very first episode. She like assaults him on the street. And she's like, "And you have a sword, and we're in the Meiji era, as you know, and you're not allowed to have a sword." And I just have it in all caps. We're in the Meiji era, as you know.
It's like, well...
It's like, so, Mr. Jones, as you know, we are living in the age of Queen Victoria. And as you know, corsets really are in style, as you know.
Not the exposition.
Yeah. No, not at all. Actually, if I had to point out a key flaw in this series, it would be that the exposition is really clunky.
A little bit.
And
okay.
You guys haven't even seen anywhere near the worst of it. There are huge... there are entire fights later on where I think Sanosuke gets this the worst, which is a shame because he really is my bae in this series. He was one of my original husbandos. And he really gets it bad where there will be fights that Kenshin is having where his whole job is to, for the entire fight, be like, they're feeling this thing right now. Kenshin is really serious about this ideology. That's why he's using this particular technique. This enemy is this person from this part of history.
Isn't that just what anime is?
Mostly, yes.
Oh.
But
it's good for me. I don't know much about like Japanese history, so it's like watching an episode of the Magic School Bus.
And I'm
Rurouni
like,
Kenshin is the Magic School Bus for the Meiji era.
And I'm a huge history nerd, so I'm like, yes, give me the context.
Tell me more.
But Kristen knows more. But so I'll read my notes about the Meiji era, and you can add in.
Go ahead.
So 1868 to 1912. It is when Japan officially moved from a feudal society to being a modern, industrialized nation.
Sucks for them.
There's a lot of angst about that.
Yeah, reaching out to the rest of the world. It was the end of the shogunate, the Tokugawa shogunate, and the fall of Edo, and kind of the end of the samurai. Edo. See, this is why Kristen's here. I'm a weeb in training. That's the premise.
So does that mean that The Last Samurai, starring our Lord and Savior Tom Cruise, was set around this time period?
Who's Lord and Savior?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Scientologist, Lord and Savior.
Fair.
John Tra is my Lord and Savior when it comes to Scientologists.
Oh, jeez.
No. Disclaimer, we are not Scientologists.
No.
I hate it when mom and dad fight.
Shout out to page 7 on the last podcast network, where when they talk about pop culture, they actually call John Travolta John Tra. That's their
Really?
name for it.
They have a nickname for that. That's adorable.
See, I
love
just
it.
thought you mispronounced Jontron.
Yeah, I
No.
thought for a second, and I was like, we don't need to talk about him.
Be like, Mary's drunk.
Not yet.
We'll talk about our wines at the end of the episode.
True.
So it corresponded to the reign of Emperor Meiji, who was in power.
Oh, that's like the name of the era that they're in.
I
right
know.
now.
Oh,
It's the name
don't
of the
you
emperor.
know?
Well, here's
It's
okay.
also the
So
name
this
of
is
the era.
well, when I'm thinking about it, like I think about Kristen and I just went to go see a really cool exhibit on Chinese art during the Qin Dynasty, which is
so cool.
which is right before.
Peabody Essex Museum.
It was
in
awesome
Massachusetts in Salem.
In Salem,
I was working like a loser.
I know, but we brought you a candle shaped like a pear.
Yes.
You're welcome.
It was Kristen's idea, and I got chopsticks finally. Yeah, so like a whole dynasty in China was based on a whole era with lots and lots of emperors and empresses stuck in there. But in Japan, it's like, nope, this is the era of this one dude.
Well, they had so much political upheaval at that point too.
They were like, let's do this now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they did that
were
in
kinda
England
pulled
for
in
the
all-
Victorian age.
Exactly. So
That's a good
I'm just
point.
thinking Eastern. I was surprised because like East Asian, I was like, oh, they do it differently. But Japan and China constantly stealing from each other and fighting.
Quite true. Yeah.
But long story short, Meiji era. I was super excited because I was like, I literally wrote, the time period of the show is not just a backdrop, which is what Kristen said. It's not just a backdrop, but it is integral to the story.
So yeah, no, that is actually, I think, one of the strongest points of the show is that it's not just like an action anime that just happens to take place in a time when swords are everywhere. So it's cool. We can have sword fights. Neat. No, like it's super, super freaking important exactly what era this show takes place in and the historical context surrounding it. And as a final diversion before we get back to talking strictly about the show, I really wanted to share this story because I've never weebed so hard in my entire life. This was the ultimate weeb moment in my existence. So I'm dressed as Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho because I sometimes cosplay him, right? And I go to meet Lex Lang because I'm like, oh my god, I've been wanting to meet this guy for the last 15 years of my life. This is so exciting. He happens to be at Anime Boston. Awesome. I do this drawing of Sanosuke, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I go to meet him, and we chat briefly, and he's so friendly, but I'm so overwhelmed that I'm like, oh no, I can't take up too much of his time. I have to leave. I'm one of the first people in line, so I'm I'm not going to be that asshole who takes up too much of this guy's time.
That's what I do. I can't meet famous people. I freak out.
Right? So I was like, I can't take up too much of his time. So I was like, he complimented my drawing 2 or 3 separate times. He said it was beautiful. He loved it. And he thanked me for watching the show. I thanked him for doing what he does. And I have never done this before in my life, but I full on Japanese style bowed to him. I just went full weeb. I don't know, the atmosphere and the cosplay and the overwhelming emotions.
Oh my
I just
God.
everything happened at once and I bowed to him, and I've never done that before in my life. That's such a weeb thing to do.
Oh my god, that reminds me, and we don't have to talk about this right now, but it reminds me of when I met Jason Marsden, who voiced Haku in Spirited Away.
Oh, phenomenal.
Rhode Island.
Such a sweet marshmallow.
So nice, and he was so nice to me, and the picture of us together is terrible because I was smiling so hard I look like I'm insane. All right.
Don't mind Mary. Her soul just left her body.
He wrote sweet Mary, thank you so much on the, which we still have to get framed.
What a cutie.
So nice. All right.
So
Rurouni.
voice actors aside, we'll talk about voice actors another time.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole episode because I have been on a voice actor kick.
She has big time. So that's on the docket.
So you guys, tell me more of your genuine, unfiltered thoughts about the show with your first experience with it.
So my first impression of Kaoru, the young lady, was Kaoru is a lot, and that's all I said. And then after episode 1, I added, and it's great.
And I really like Kenshin, honestly.
I love him.
I think that most of the animes I've been exposed to so far are the men tend to be kind of what you'd expect, just hyper masculine, very aggressive, violent, overly obsessed with women. I don't know. It is a lot.
There's a type
it's true.
for a male anime protagonist, and it tends to be very I'm gonna fucking kick your ass and then, like, get hit while trying to sexually assault a woman.
Yeah. Or I think about, like, Yusuke and Yu Yu Hakusho, who's just all angry and braggy and rah,
which I personally identify with a lot, but I understand he's not a protagonist for everyone.
He's like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix for the whole show.
All caps lock all the time.
Angry Harry.
Oh, he is caps lock personified.
My dad just is, Angry Harry. Here we go.
Oh, God.
But Kenshin he is very calm and he's very balanced.
But he's not boring.
He's not boring. He manages to do domestic things without it being like, oh, look at this cute man knows how to cook real well. I know plenty of men who know how to cook. Kenshin's one of them. I don't know him. I wish I did personally, but and then he instantly transitions to badass while maintaining that kind of calm, collected exterior.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that.
He never acts out of anger and he's never reactionary, which I like a lot. But he's also, at the beginning when it was like, I was like, oh man, he's cute and he's gonna be a badass. And then like when Kaoru first like attacks him in the street, he's like, oh, and his eyes turn into spirals. And I was like, oh, this guy's gonna fucking suck. But he's balanced between the two. And I love that. I love that about him.
You get the sense that this is a man who has seen his share of fighting, and he is going to maintain his calm and relaxed village life through whatever means he has to. And he's just happy to do it.
I will fight you to keep there from being fighting, so help me.
Me.
I think we all were really into, I think in the second episode when they introduced Yahiko, who, again, because this is an earlier in English dub, so the Japanese pronunciations are really all over the place.
They do not agree on how things are pronounced.
Yahiko being a little pickpocket working for the local Yakuza that they...
Which, of course, gets pronounced Yakuza a lot because, like I said...
Is it Yakuza?
It's Yakuza, as far as I know. Because usually
I've heard it both ways.
What we express as the letter U in our alphabet is usually, it's sort of like a hiccup syllable. Usually it's a syllable that's like almost not... yeah, exactly like that. It's like kind of not fully pronounced.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So we meet Yahiko.
Yes, sorry. Wow, I was saying a thing. So... so he's on the strings of the Yakuza here, and Kenshin, of course, shows up to save the day because the first, 4 or 5
Kaoru
episodes...
shows up first to save the day.
That is true. And people actually frequently discount how cool Kaoru actually is.
I like her a lot.
Yeah. Like, she gets overshadowed because she's surrounded by these, like, anime bullshit magic swordsmen. But, like, in terms of sheer skill... She's an incredibly accomplished swordswoman, whatever your preference is. Yeah. So you are absolutely right. Kaoru is the first one to jump into action and be like, no, something is wrong that's happening here and I'm going to fix it. Even though this child owes me nothing and he's actually a terrible little shit.
He's not terrible, though, because he has, he tries to pickpocket an old man and then turns around and sees that the old man's grandson is like, wait, you'll buy me this thing? Really? And the old man's like, oh, where's my wallet? And then Yahiko gives it back.
Reverse pickpockets.
Yeah. Way better than reverse racism.
Yes. Well...
Oh,
God. One of those things I am equipped to talk about in a public setting. One of them I am not.
Me too. And
I'll let you guess which one.
I love reverse pickpocketing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's called charity.
Yes. So in any case, yeah.
It's called volunteer work. Do more of it.
Do more reverse pickpocketing. That's the moral for today's episode.
2019.
So Kaoru shows up and she does the first heavy legwork, and then of course Kenshin shows up because like the first 5 episodes or so are mostly like shit goes wrong and Kenshin shows up to fix it.
Kenshin is Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day.
That's a fair point, actually. So
I put that in my notes. Kenshin equals Mighty Mouse. It's down there. You'll see it.
Well done. Thank you. So he shows up, and one of my favorite freaking takedowns that he has is in this episode where some guy runs at him with a sword and he literally pops his sword out of the sheath and nails this guy in the bottom of the chin with the hilt of his sword.
Not
and
even
it
the blade.
launches this man into the ceiling.
And he just stays stuck up there, like, wiggling around, like,
Yeah, and all of us, I think, kind of looked at each other and were like, Kenshin, that kills people! But not in this anime.
But the whole premise of who Kenshin is now, he used to be an assassin, and now he, wanders Japan defending the defenseless, but will not kill. He's Batman.
His sword has the blade on the wrong side so that he uses it just to beat people.
Yes.
Rather-
Blood trauma never killed anyone.
Never.
once.
Not even once.
So let's see. We chatted a bit about the voice work. We chatted a bit about the basic plot. You guys, of course, I mean, we all love Kenshin. I think I appreciate him more as an adult than I did as a kid. As a kid, I was kind of like, he's kind of goofy, and, like, it's kind of weird that he, like, switches between nice and aggressive. But, like, as an adult, I kind of get that.
Sometimes you gotta switch between nice and aggressive to get by in this world.
Yeah, for real. Like,
I wish I knew more men like Kenshin.
That's true. Who are better at,
Not
like...
the part about switching between nice and aggressive, but being fair, balanced individuals who cook well.
And
the cooking part is important.
And who do the right thing but don't seek glory.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a nice thing that they establish early on, that he's sought out by
Paul Newman.
Thank you. I was about to say Paul Blart.
Yamagata, Lord of the Meiji Imperial Army.
Blart Fall Flesh.
Emporium, the Meiji Emporium.
Blart Fall Flesh Mall.
We're all on different pages and none of them are good.
Don't maul on his mall.
No.
Mary, I'm putting you in timeout.
You can't. She's in charge of the microphones.
Beep, beep, meme creep.
Mary, I'm going to beat you within an inch of your life.
It's one of my favorite memes of all time.
No.
So Paul Blart shows up.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman shows up.
Yamagata.
Yamagata, who I saw him before we even learned his name, and I was like, Paul Newman? He looks like Paul Newman.
So you said that, and I thought Paul Newman actually voiced the character. I'm like, that's very impressive. They got Paul Newman for this anime.
Oh, no. This anime was in the era of, like, we gotta get this over to America, but we gotta do it as cheap as we can.
Yeah.
We gotta maximize those profit margins on this shit.
Maybe they told Paul Newman they'd buy a lot of his dressing
And lemonade.
if he did this voice.
Paul Newman's dressing is already objectively the best you're gonna find at any regular grocery store.
This is true.
And he didn't pay me to say that.
Newman's... No, he
dead.
didn't, because he's dead.
But you know what? He still has the best blue eyes in this whole world.
That's true. I tried to cackle away from the mic, but I fucked it up that time. I'm sorry.
It sounds really good. One thing, and this is Mary geeking out about history again, is that, talking about we're in the Meiji era, as you know. Clear the way for the police swordsmen. Even babies must stop crying out of respect and fear for them. Like,
Best line.
So good.
There's a police force in this town who, spend a whole episode arresting and losing and rearresting and losing and arresting Kenshin for something we don't know about.
It's
really.
this whole cycle of attempt and failure.
Right.
It's really just a winding maze of incompetence.
But it's
And they're dicks.
Yes,
Yes.
they're dicks. And it's historically accurate because there's the fall of the shogunate, the samurai are gone, and the police are like, cool, we'll just like slip right into this power vacuum.
We're the only ones who can have swords now.
Exactly. So
We
it's
can
like
do whatever we want.
Exactly. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, it's a power vacuum. And then like 5 minutes later, Kaoru is like, you're just doing this because there's nobody to stop you because blah, 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 and the revolution. I was like, power vacuum! I was just so excited.
No, totally. That's the thing about this show too, is that they go balls deep into the historical aspect of it, like, immediately. Mm-hmm. They are not shying away from it. Like, Sanosuke's introduction and the whole explanation of who the Sekkeihotai are is like, that is shit that I never would have heard of as an American person, like, born and educated when I was.
No, it's true. We don't learn in the American public school system. We don't learn about.
I mean, I went to Catholic school and I didn't learn that shit
no,
either. It's
I
not
went-
just public schools.
No, it's
Nobody's
like-
teaching this.
I did AP World History, and I still didn't learn
They
it.
just skip. They skip the chapters on, if they even get a chapter and not just a paragraph, they skip the chapters on East Asian history in any era.
I mean,
And
it's such a
South Asian
small landmass, all of these.
It's not the largest
So-
continent on the planet or anything.
Wait,
It's
is
Russia. We got Russia. It's fine.
We covered Russia, so we're fine. We don't need Asia.
Oh.
That's gross.
Now
That
the
was
travel
gross.
writer can't remember what the largest continent is. It probably is Asia, I think. You
Good
can
job.
It is Asia, yeah.
Good job. I am not qualified to talk about this.
I love social studies.
What else? I focus so much on character writing. So that was always one of the big things for me in this series, that the characters are consistent without seeming too archetypal. Yahiko is a good example because I think he was the one who annoyed me most as a kid, but looking back I can be like, no, there is actually some decent nuance to him. Like,
He's willing to learn and grow.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he finds out that they are planning on, they learn that the Kashin,
the Kamiya Kishin style.
yes, they learn that style to protect people, not to hurt people, but to protect people. When he's just been taken advantage of his whole life, and he's like, wait a minute, there's this group of people out here who are working just to keep other people safe, and they want me to join them. It's like
That's pretty mind-blowing.
it's a mind-blowing moment for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Quick note on Sanosuke, because Sanosuke we meet at the end.
He is my bae.
Sanosuke.
He's my favorite.
He's
I
the
like
cute.
him.
He's the cute bad boy.
He has the kanji for bad or evil on the back of his coat.
Cause I'm bad. I'm bad. You know it.
No.
I'm dancing in a parking garage right now.
No, I'm in pain.
I've transcended.
Although, that being said, I definitely spent a lot of time in middle school doodling that kanji on all of my notebooks, because I'm very cool.
Oh, you're so bad.
I'm so bad.
So bad.
Bad to the bone.
Yeah, Sanosuke and Kenshin have such a case of the not gays. To coin a phrase from our dear friend Kevin, I think that's my favorite way of expressing, like, especially in Japanese media, where they have these, like, really close male friendships that are, like, frequently the linchpin for entire series.
The not gays.
Yeah, the not gays.
Shout out to Kevin. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's very appropriate. And I think Kevin
Frodo
knows
and
Rurouni
Sam
Kenshin,
in
like,
Lord of the Rings.
few people do. That's a great example.
Well, I think that this could be a great topic for a future episode, but I think
The not gays.
The not gays.
people have a hard time accepting close male friendships. They're like, oh, they must be secretly gay because
true.
men can't be close like women can be close.
And that's true. Even we, who we want to think of ourselves as very progressive and millennial, we're immediately
We
like,
make the jokes.
We do. We're immediately like, huh, gay.
Yeah, sure.
You know, but
Friggin', we had a great time watching Yu Yu Hakusho when, I won't spoil shit for anybody who hasn't seen the series, but big dramatic stuff happens and Kuwabara goes like, there's nothing wrong with guys needing each other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And, like,
so sweet.
It was the cutest thing in the universe. And of course, at first, my sarcastic side wants to be like, yeah, totally Kuwabara. Nothing wrong with guys needing each other, am I right? But, like, Rich, actually, to his credit, was the one who looked at me straight on and was like, no, like, there's nothing wrong with guys needing each other.
absolutely not. If my boyfriend needs another man,
Sure.
he needs another man.
I mean, you're not going to be that man, I'll tell you that much.
I'm not. Try as I might.
But no, this is a great example. I think the cast of Rurouni Kenshin has really good chemistry. But
Last thing I did want to bring up was that when you mentioned, like, oh, this is the era of anime where women could beat up men, and it was like, it's not abuse if it's men.
that's true. Yeah, no, men don't get abused. They get hilariously hit.
And it's like, oh, no. Yeah, so that's, you know, we can never just have one episode on gender tropes and relations.
It's too much.
No, because it is embedded throughout the entire genre. It doesn't matter if you're talking about 80s, 90s, up to now. It's in there. Mm-hmm. Try as you might.
Okay, so, favorite characters for you guys?
Alanna, you go first.
Okay. I think Sanosuke is my favorite character. And, yeah, I mean, he's got the
Shocking.
Yeah.
I'm shocked, Cotton.
kanji for evil or bad on his back. I mean,
It gets awkwardly translated. Sometimes they call it wicked, too, I think, which,
Ooh.
as a New Englander, that's pretty hilarious.
I like my
Spicy.
when wicked and not in the New England way, but more in like the evil queen, wicked witch
More
of
in
the
the
West.
Adina Menzel way.
Adela Nazim, excuse me.
Adele Dazeem.
You're right, I mispronounced
John
it.
Tra and his sacred pronunciation.
We've come full circle.
Yes, we have.
Fuck.
But yeah, I like Sanosuke's voice actor, Lex Lang.
He's great.
got this great deep resonance. I liked Sanosuke's captain a lot.
He was
Rip.
hot.
Captain Sagara.
He
I
was
can't
really
remember
hot.
his first
Black
name.
hair, red headband.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got the hair over the eye thing too, which I want to say was not really in vogue during the Revolution, but here we are.
I know,
in
a lot
vogue
of
in
the-
my heart.
A lot of the hairstyles, I'm like, that wasn't happening in 1898. Oh no, we'd be 1878 by now, because they said it was 10 years since the Revolution.
Yes,
I mean, it wasn't happening since there's been gravity, so
that's true. Anime hair, everybody.
All right, my favorite character is probably, I love Kenshin. He's so cute.
He's a nugget.
That I put multiple times in my notes, like, Kenshin does something super badass, and then he turns to, Kaoru or whoever, and his eyes just soften, and I don't know how they animate it, but his big old purple eyes that were once so steely and stern are like just so cute.
He's a little puppy.
He's just a
he does
puppy.
like a Puss in Boots from Shrek.
He
Oh,
does.
yes.
Except I don't want to fuck Puss in Boots. I don't even know if I want to fuck Antonio Banderas.
We talked about this
What's wrong
though.
with you?
It's 29. I still do have to watch Picasso.
Kenshin is a total power bottom. YN.
Speaking of terrible artists who create good
When he
things.
says, "I'll allow you to arrest me,"
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Why?
In the episode
Kenshin
where
is a power bottom.
there's this whole tension about him maybe getting arrested.
tension.
Well, I hate you.
Me
We've
too.
already been through this whole thing
tension.
about yes, that is what she said. Can we please move on from it?
No.
They have this whole thing where they're trying and failing to arrest this man, and
episode 3.
he basically is like, okay, so here's what's gonna happen. You have been shitty to these innocent people. I'm gonna get real mad about that, but after the fact, I'll allow you to arrest me for carrying a sword in public or for assaulting a police officer, whatever you want, really. It's just like, yeah,
I'll allow you to arrest me.
definitely a power bottom.
Big time. Big time.
Absolutely.
And on that note,
What else? Is there anything
No,
else? we're
Kristen,
forgetting?
who's your favorite
there's.
character?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so obvious. It's Sanosuke 110%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still gotta say it.
I weeb bowed at his voice actor.
Panic about.
I panicked at Lex Lang.
Oh my god.
Who, by the way, Lex.
I panic
Lex Lang-
bowed at my graduation if it makes you feel better.
That's fair.
I think we're fine.
I think we're pretty much good. I know it's super obvious that Sanosuke is my favorite. I think
The swordsman at the diner.
he didn't
pay his check.
We did have a total Emperor's New Groove moment. That was another. The localization of this anime is actually really, really fascinating. So, you guys already, of course, like notice things like it's kind of awkward to be like, "There's a bad on my back." Because it's hard to express, well, I have the kanji for, like, evil on my back, but it's not evil in, like, the I'm gonna commit genocide kind of way. It's sort of like, sort of more of, like, a bad reputation, sort of, like, bad boy kind of thing. Like, it's hard to express that. So some of the localization is a little weird. You guys, I remember as we were watching it, one of you, I forget who, but one of you guys noticed Kenshin's habit of saying, like, I am, or that you should, or, kind of restating his point at the end of a sentence.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a Yoda quirk. It's, I want to say in the original Japanese, there was sort of just, like, a phrase, like a catch-all phrase that he could use for that, and it was a little bit less awkward sounding and more just, like, a little, like, word that just got thrown into his sentences.
I feel like it was like Ducky and Land Before Time being like, yep.
Yep. Yeah. No, exactly. It's kind of just like a weird little speech quirk, but I think it's much more
Ducky is my
conspicuous
spirit
in English.
animal.
Ducky.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
The localization for this is super weird. There was also a thing that shows up in the manga that you don't see in the anime because they translated everything where you know how he refers to, like, Kaoru as Miss Kaoru all the time? He's pretty formal with her.
Yeah. He's like Southern gentleman.
So you guys are familiar with the suffixes that are used in Japanese, like kun and chan and san, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the suffix he uses for women in the manga is dono, which is a very, very formal and respectful way of referring to somebody. It's basically saying, like, my lady Kaoru or something like that.
Oh, no.
So it's, yeah.
Alana's like, oh, and I'm like, fuck.
Well, because we
Tips
have the
his
modern
fedora.
association of the nice guy now.
Milady.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kenshin tips his fedora.
Shaves his neck beard.
What's his login on 4chan?
No! Oh, I hate it. You've ruined everything that I love
we've
now.
just alienated like a third of our listeners.
Yeah, for real. It's
All four
over
of
now.
them.
It's all over now.
Sorry. So Kristen and I are sharing 2 bottles of wine.
Listen, you can't call me out like that, because if you say that I'm sharing with you and then I also say the wine that I'm having to myself, then it makes it sound like I'm double fisting wine bottles,
No,
which is
but-
not technically true.
But
And for our British listeners, double fisting in America is drinking 2 things of alcohol.
they
one
can
in each hand.
Google it and eventually get there.
Oh.
Well, I started with Dunkin' Donuts Irish cream coffee with Bailey's, so double the Irish cream.
Yes.
Because it's almost St. Patty's Day and I'm Irish as fuck. Just kidding, just 50%. I'm drinking SR Secret Reserve Red Blend from Chile.
This is some fucking thing that I got from the liquor store up the street.
Thanks.
I don't know, man.
Thanks, Kristen.
It looked decent. It had a cool label.
What's the other one that you're drinking, not me?
Not you. Yeah, the one that I am, this is the only wine that I'm drinking. It's some fucking thing that I got from the liquor store up the street. I had a very productive liquor run the other day.
You did.
So this is a Cabernet called Silver Creek. And it's pretty good. It's a little bit, like, I like Cabernets because they're a little zesty.
I've enjoyed my sample of it.
Yeah, Cabernets are a little nasty, you know. They're a little naughty,
I love Cabernets.
which is great.
I
but
want my alcohol to hurt me.
good. Yeah, you want it to bend you over, you know, tell you who's boss.
I mean,
but
alcohol will always hurt you.
that's true. Eventually, it all hurts.
Alana, what are you drinking?
So I treated myself to a $16 bottle of wine.
Whoa!
And I know why she paid that much money for a bottle of wine.
Well, because I'm almost done with my grad school applications.
Yeah.
But it is a Dreaming Tree Pinot
Oh,
Noir.
it's fucking Dave Matthews
Yes.
Band.
If there's
I
one
saw it
thing
on the
I'm a
kitchen
slut
table.
for, it's Dave Matthews Band and everything related to them. Am I a stoner? No. Am I a big DMB fan? Yes.
She
including
is.
their
A big
wine.
old nerd.
That goes without saying. I am literally wearing Star Wars earrings right now as I
They're
drink
pretty
my wine.
fly.
Hey guys, guess what? At this time, I'd like to give a shout out to our social media manager / emotional support / content writer, Alanna.
And I'd like to give a shout out to our resident in-house artist, Kristen, aka Chris.
Who just got attacked by the cat for no reason. I
He
didn't ask for this.
He thought you were me.
Yeah. And that brings me to my shout out for our sound mixer, sound whisperer, general person who knows sounds, Mary.
Yeah. Our theme song was composed by me. I just
With
give-
no input from the rest of us.
No, I just gave a shout out to myself.
That's okay.
But you guys can check us out on YouTube at Weebs in Training. We are under Weebs in Training. There's another user right now that has the name Weebs in Training, but
Ours is an icon that looks like a sponge, aka it looks like me. It's a direct portrait of me.
but
It is.
fun.
It's some of the most realistic work I've ever accomplished, actually.
Yeah, so you can check us out on YouTube at Weebs in Training. We're also at Weebs in Training on SoundCloud if you don't have time for the visual media, which is a damn shame because if you watch us on YouTube, you'll get to see Kristen's awesome illustrations. But you can listen to us on SoundCloud if that's what floats your boat. If you are looking for Kristen's illustrations otherwise, you can go on to Instagram, follow her at Chris Kern Inc. KrisKernink. Alanna, what about you? Instagram.
Mostly I draw pretty anime boys. Alanna.
Bishonen.
Well, for myself, you can look at my travel photos, which are,
Super cool.
I was just gonna say obnoxious.
No, they're really nice.
They're rad as hell.
At
Loud.
Alanna
Good.
Travels, which is ALANNA.travels. I hope you know how to spell that. And our Instagram for our show is Weebs_in_training. We have, hopefully by the time this airs, we'll have like 3 pictures up.
Only
So
3. Exactly 3.
Hell yeah. Magic number.
follow
Catholicism.
us.
Let's go.
It won't ruin your follower to followed ratio too much
No.
because we're awesome.
Yeah,
And you'll be very happy you did.
you will.
All positivity all the time.
Follow
and
us
cats.
on all the bullshit.
Oh, yes. We are going to show you our cat.
We are going to show you our pussy.
The collective pussy. The royal pussy.
Listen.
And with that, good night.
No, not yet.
Oh,
we
no.
have one more feature.
Yes. So we didn't talk about that. I'm going to cut so much from this tomorrow. We're going to talk about the, really quick, the theme song of Rurouni Kenshin starts off like super badass and
Super metal.
super metal, grungy, and I'm like, yeah, let's go do the sword. Meiji era, as you know, we're in the Meiji era. And then it turns into like really
Squealy anime music.
really anime music, which I wish I could do a sad kazoo to, but I've honestly already forgotten it. You haven't.
What now?
The melody.
Oh, the yeah.
Good.
No, I know it
now
because there's a remix of it that was on a game of DDR that I had as a
shit.
child.
Oh, that's why you know so well.
Yeah.
Well, now you can put the sad kazoo picture
That's
in
true.
the YouTube video, and by you I mean me.
Yeah, you're gonna put the sad kazoo.
All right, are we ready?
Yes.
This is a dramatic reading of the English version of the Rurouni Kenshin theme song called Freckles. I've claimed it because I have freckles. Also, it's utterly ridiculous and I want it.
I think you should read the Japanese version.
No,
That's not gonna go well.
I'm going to insult a lot of people if I try to do that. Brushed against those freckles that I hated so, life goes on, and I heave a little sigh for you. It's heavy, the love that I would share for you, but it dissolves like it was just a sugar cube.
Just a sugar cube.
Now, the little pain sitting in my heart has shrunk in a bit, but it really does hurt me now, those silly horoscopes. I guess I can't trust them after all.
Can't.
If we could get further away, I wonder what it would be like. Yay! I'd be so happy. Inside my heart. All the memories I have are beautiful in my mind, but they don't feed the hunger deep inside my soul.
Oh, they don't.
And tonight, I thought I'd just be sitting in my sorrow, and now I must wonder why. What did it really mean to you? I just can't see it anymore. I just can't see it anymore. Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, bye.
Bye. Everyone have a great time.
Have a splendid day. Adios.